Anyway, on another note entirely, I think I had mentioned before, I know I had mentioned before, that I was having trouble with my hands, and that was a severe underestimation and another self-deception. I deceived myself into thinking that it was a hand problem for quite a while, but it really wasn't. The pain was not just in my hands. Nope. No, as it progressed, I realized it was in my feet, all over the place, my knees. I mean, and trying to establish what knee pain is what is kind of tricky, because I have knee pain from having injured in the past, and what's the difference? Anyway, I went to my regular doctor. He referred me to a hand guy. The hand guy said that it wasn't what the first doctor said, and okay, so we had some blood work done, and we're having another test done tomorrow. I'm getting my Scat canned again. A year and a half ago I got my Scat canned, but she said it would still be valuable to do it now too, because I have a really odd family history of what I call cancer out of the blue. It's not that, like, I come from a family with a history of breast or ovarian cancer. I don't. We have weird cancers that seem to hit people between about 50 and 65. Being 55, I'm kind of in the sweet spot of that zone. And so I said, well, to rule out anything, and she said, why don't we get your Scat canned again? And she didn't say that, but that's what we're going to do tomorrow, so anyway. But in the blood work, it was kind of interesting that these symptoms I've had for a long time with dry skin and fatigue and muscle aches and finally the thyroid test came out abnormal. Some interesting things about test results lately. Some things are totally the opposite of what they were before. Some good, some bad. But I am now on generic Synthroid, which is called levothyroxine, I think. A relatively low dose to start. Take it for a few weeks, get another blood test for the TSH and see if it affects it at all. Still don't know why I'm hypothyroid. There could be other causes, you know. So we don't know. So we're in exploration time. The other test, I also had my women's tests done. The mammogram and the bone density. And the bone density was done with a new machine called the Scan, DEXASCAN. And I did a video last fall about how I was taking Boniva and I hated the packaging and I really didn't even believe I needed to take it. And very soon thereafter I stopped taking it, okay? So I stopped taking Boniva. So I get the results of my Scan yesterday. Normal! I took at least 2 different drugs that they foist on women because of osteopenia, lower density, but not osteoporosis. I don't have osteoporosis. They said I had osteopenia, lower than normal levels of bone density. The trick there is, you never get that done in your 20s and then compared to when you're 50, you just start getting it when you're 50. So no one knows what your bone density was before. Well, it's interesting that the new machine, the Scan, says, normal bone density, baby. I just can't believe I took that stuff for so long. Who knows what damage I did by taking As Sean Bedlam would say, half my brain is retarded, and yet I go on. I am half an idiot girl. So, anyway, so we'll see. The thyroid, the synthroid stuff takes weeks for it to show any improvements, if there are going to be any. And considering how I feel today with my hands, my feet, my pain, nothing yet so far, except that I pee an awful lot. Now that may have something to do with it, because you can experience generalized swelling. Generalized swelling when you have low thyroid. And maybe it is swelling that makes the hands and feet hurt. Maybe it is. I know I'm peeing an awful lot more than I was before. And that started the first day I started taking it. Okay, all right then. Hey, if it helps me lose a little weight, I'm all there, man. I'm good. So, what else? I don't have the mammogram test results back yet. Should get those in a few days. But even that was different. They had a new machine for that too. Now, the tech was funny. She said that this machine doesn't hurt quite as much as the other one did. Yes, it does. Okay, yes, it does. Or else you wouldn't have to tell people, remind women, while you're screwing the thing down, to flatten yourself out more, to remember to breathe. If you have to remind someone to breathe, they're uncomfortable. I'm just saying. However, the new machine is digital. So it's not like an X-ray. It's an actual digital image. Very clear. Very amazing image. And she let me look each time, and it's like, that's an amazing image. That's great. They look fine to me. Do I still have polyclonal gammopathy? I don't know. It looks like I don't. See, I got copies of my test results. I go and get them myself, so I have copies. In case I go to some other doctor, I have the copies. I can just say, here's the copies of the blood work. Yeah. I don't think I still have polyclonal gammopathy, because on the report, it doesn't say that. I have an elevation of one protein, and it is related to inflammation. Okay, so I have a high SED rate, about 48. That's high. It's not horrible high, but it's high, but I've had that SED rate for a long time. Inflammation. It's just a measure of inflammation. It doesn't measure anything else. It just says, hey, something's up, and it's inflammation. So now the protein is inflammation. However, consistently with my life, the other tests for rheumatoid arthritis that would go with the inflammation, there are other things that cause it. But the ANA and the RA, the rheumatoid factor, both negative. So I don't have rheumatoid arthritis. So what's the inflammation from? No one knows. Nobody has a clue. Still. It's like, okay. So I'm inflamed and miserable, but no one knows why. Thanks. But I'm glad to know that my bone density is normal. I really regret taking those pills ever. It was a mistake on my part. As I said, I am half an idiot girl. Okay, fine. Anyway, so that's what's up with me. My hope is that if it is thyroid, and if the thyroid synthroid works and I start getting some of my life back and my energy at least back to the level it was at before all this crap started happening, because I have been going downhill so badly in energy, I was afraid to even tell anyone how bad I felt. I was thinking, shit, better